Hello everyone, very good afternoon, guys. I think my voice is audible to each and every person. So we will wait for 5 to 10 minutes, guys, because students are still joining, right? And after start the session, okay, with the table administrator. So be aware of the topic. I will do ask some questions before the starting of the. Let's wait for 5 to 10 minutes. Then after we'll continue the class, guys. So guys, hello everyone. Welcome back to the session. Very good afternoon, each and everyone. So please check with my voice, guys, whether you are able to hear me or not. Please confirm me that. Quickly give the response in the Q&A, guys. I need a response from each and every person. Yeah, that's great. Okay. So previously we have discussed about the three different types of field creations through forms, right? So can you please name them in the Q&A, guys? What are the three different ways that we created fields using form? So one is form design. Yep, I got one answer. Only through form builder and form layout. So in the chat only, so quickly reply to this also. What is the major difference that you have observed whenever you're working on the form layout as well as form builder as well as form designer? Akshaya, sorry, chat is disabled. You can't access the chat. Please try to question that in the Q&A. Okay. So everyone can type that in the Q&A, whatever the thing that you want to ask, you can directly ask that in the Q&A. So we can hear you clearly. So we create sections easily in design as well as builder, but that is not easy in the form layout. Okay, so that is one difference that I got. Yeah, Geetika. So today we are going to continue with the same topic, that is the data type that we are using, that is reference data type. So in that we have one topic called dot working. So I will let you know how that is going to work as well as when we are going to use that dot working particularly. Okay. So then after we are going to continue with extents table. We have done with the two things, right? One to many as well as many to many. Now we need to see with the last one, that is extents table. So we need to cover that as well in today's class itself. So form layout is basic. Form design opens new tab. Yeah. So this is the one of the major thing that you need to know. That is good, Vamshi Krishna. So when I was coming to the form builder, guys, whenever you're working on any field properties, we have multiple options whenever you're working on the form builder. So if you open in the form builder, if you create any field in the form builder, we can see all the properties that can be due to the particular field. So we can set a default value. We can set a choices as well. We even can set a attributes, formula, as well as dynamic choices, and we even can set whether that field can be a mandatory or that field can be a read-only. So these are the small configurations that we need to know whenever we are working on the field. So I think everyone got a good idea, and I have assigned you one task, right, guys? So what is the task that you need to do? So I told that everyone should create one field or other using different data types that we have in our instance. So please let me know how many of you created that. If you have any doubts in that particularly, you can ask me in the Q&A. Then after, we're going to start our topics for today. Asma, definitely I'm going to do that. No problem. We always use multiple ways to create fields. Okay. So don't need to worry about that. So frequently I'm going to use all the different ways to create a fields, and we are going to work on our scenario, right? So we need to develop one more table also. We need to create few more fields in that as well. So I will use different tables for different purposes. In the meantime, I'm going to explain what are the additional things that you are going to observe in that particular creation as well. So what is database view? So Gayatri, yesterday we have observed that schema map, right? Yesterday we have observed one topic with the name of schema map. So if you observe that in that particularly, we are going to see what are the extents tables from that particular table, what are the extended tables from that particular table, what are the referring tables from that particular table, what are the referred tables from that particular table. So in that way, we are going to see what are the connections between this particular table to all the tables that we have in our instance. So same goes for the different table, that is CMDB. So to see that kind of a view, to see that kind of a view in the CMDB table, we have an option called database view. Okay. So if you go for the task, incident, problem, and what are the tables that you are going to create custom tables, for that we have a schema map. So for the configuration item also, CMDB also we have a schema map. But if you want to check in detailedly, like if you want to know what are the other things that you are going to see in the configuration items, we are going with the database view. Okay. So while working on the database view, it is very important to check which item is been created and from which company it is been created, from which location it is been created, and from which manufacturing it is coming from. And we are going to see all the connections for a single item. So that is the thing that you are going to see in the database view. Okay. So we are going to see the dependency relationship between the item that you have selected and what are the other things that you know to know for that particular item. Okay. So guys, let me. Oh, sorry. Yep. Yeah, I'm going to share the screen, guys. No need to worry. Babu, let me share the screen. So please tell me, guys, whether you are able to see the screen or not. Please confirm that. Give me the thumbs up or please say yes or no in the Q&A. Yep, that's great. One more thing, specially, guys, you need to inform your friends as well because everyone should attend the session, right? To call your friends as well so that they will also continue the learning with you all. So, guys, please confirm me whether you are able to see the screen or not. Priya, please post a message in the Telegram group. They will definitely help you out. Okay. Yep, everyone can see that. So So guys, let me show you the quick PPT of the form configuration that we are learning for. Okay. So we already discussed how we are going to move with the configuration through the form. So we can go that using a form header as well as we can go that to the context menu. So each and every option that is working the same thing. So if you go with the form header also, if you go with the context menu also, the working will be same. You are going to see the same configuration options. And in that particularly, we are going to observe all the things that you are going to see. Here in the picture, you can see there is no form builder. Okay. I already told that that is a recent update that is coming to our instance that is updated in the Xanadu version. So in the previous versions, there is no option called form builder. And whereas coming to the form builder, that is the upgraded version of these two particularly. Okay. So you can use form layout or you can use form design. If you want to use both at a time, you can directly go with the form builder. Okay. Even in the form builder, we also have additional advantages that we already observed that. So we can set the properties in more detailedly for the field and we can see the formulas to be set in and we also can define the default value for the field and we can see a lot of things that we can do in the particular field. Okay. So whereas coming to the different data type views, so if you see for the incident form, these are the different views. If you go for the table, it will be represented in the form of list. Okay. So where you are going to observe the columns as well as records. So you can see the picture on the left side, that is the incident list. And whereas coming to the record, that is the place where we are going to store the data in a particular table. So each and every record is going to store certain data based on the ticket in our consideration. Okay. So whereas coming to the form, you can see where we are going to see all the fields on the particular table and where we are going to fill the data in that particular table. That helps to represent the fields of a table. So whereas coming to the field, you are going to see all the fields that is there in that particularly, we call that as the fields. Beside that, we are going to give the value that will be stored in the form of a record. So each and everything that you are going to build here will be automatically stored to the database after clicking on the save or submit. So that is the major thing that you need to remember whenever you are working on a form. So next goes with these things. So if you open any kind of a form, guys, if you open any kind of a form, it's maybe a classic form, that may be a standard form or a custom form. So whereas coming to this classic one, you can see there is a form preview. Under that, we are going to see a lot of sections that is in the form of notes, related records, and resolution information. So each and every section is going to represent something. Okay. So in that particular notes, we are going to see the formatter. So we have different kind of formatters. I will tell you that as well. So we have different kind of formatters. In that, activities is one of the formatter where we are going to observe all the things that has been done or updated on the record that will be stored in the form of an activity. Okay. So then after you are going to see the UA actions that are nothing but a related links, guys. So these links helps us to navigate to somewhere else where that is linked to the table. Okay. So whatever the thing that you are doing or whatever the thing that you want to work on, additionally on this particular table, the record that you are creating, we can create one related link in that particular way so that we can navigate to that particular location and we can move with our configuration. So same goes for the related list as well. But whereas coming to the related links, it will go to the next page where whenever you're clicking on the link. But whereas coming to the related list, we are going to see the data that will be automatically updated based on the record that you are going to create. Okay. So next, if you go for the field types, you already observe that we have different field types. Okay. So here one is auto number that will generate the number automatically whenever you are creating one more record in the table. So I will also explain you how we are going to create the auto number as well. So that is a different way that won't be available whenever you're creating the field using data types. Okay. So we can create an auto number directly from the table. Otherwise, we have one more option to create an auto number that is called number maintenance. We can create a number maintenance for the table and we can add that particular field in the table so that it will provide automatic numbers for our records. Okay. So whereas coming to the reference, that particular reference data type is used to display the records from the another table. So that we are working on presently. So yesterday I have created one particular field with the name of test users. Okay. In that particularly, I'm going to fetch all the I'm going to fetch all the users records. Okay. This how I'm going to display that particular. So next, coming to the date and time, you are going to see when we are going to use this particular data type. So let's talk the data type that you all know: choice, true or false. That is nothing but a Boolean value. And if you go for the string, you already know that it will allow the alphabets as well as it will allow the numerical values. So if you go for the reference, in the mainly reference only. So if you see, the reference is mainly focused on the name of a table. Okay. So whatever the thing that you are seeing on a table record on the left side. Okay. So let me show you that as well. Suppose if I'm going with the incident. Okay? Suppose if I'm going with the incident table. Let me show all the incident records here. So this is my incidents, right? In the left side column, you are going to see all the numbers of the incidents. Suppose if I call this particular incidents as my reference table, then I will always see the number on the reference table. So if you go for the student record, okay, let me go for the student table that we have created. So let me go for the student table that we created. So click on this. here you all can see all the data that is been there for the student. So let me click on new here to open the form where you are going to see all the reference fields that will be indicated with the lookup. Okay, so that we call as the reference field. So if I click on this particular lookup, I am going to see all the records that are present in the user table. If I click on any one of the user, then it will automatically give me the name of the user. It will automatically use the name of the user. So in the same way, if I give my reference table as an incident, then it will always give the incident number, not the name. Okay, so we even can define that. How I am going to define that, I will go to show you guys by creating one more table that is the name of mentor. So where for particular mentor I am going to assign multiple students, or for a student I am going to assign multiple mentors. Okay, so we will check that, and we also observe that how we are going to discover the data logging, and what is the use of main concept called dot logging. Okay, so you got an idea about the reference fields here. Reference field indicates with the lookup icon. If you open that, it will directly show the related records of another table. That is nothing but a targeted table where you are going to fetch the data from that particular table. So guys, here is one most important points here. Please make a note of it, because these particular three lines of a data is very important for you to identify which place we are going to store the data of a table, in which place we are going to store the data of a fields that we have created. In that particular fields, we are going to store the data of a field separately and field API name separately. Okay. So if you go for the first thing, sys underscore db underscore object. If you go for the first thing, that is sys underscore db underscore object, what will it will go for? It will directly go for the tables. Okay, where we are going to see all the tables that are there in the service now. Okay. So you already seen that we have an incident table, table, change table, student table that we created. So user table, group table, role table, all the tables that you can see in the particular table called master table. For that master table, we have an API name called sys underscore db underscore object. Okay. So whereas coming to the next one, information about the field in a table stored in the sys underscore dictionary. Okay. So what is this sys underscore dictionary? What it will store is, guys, whatever the field that you are creating. So whatever the field that you are creating, so for that we are giving one API name. Okay. So for that, in the student, you can see first name is the label name. If I double click on the form, or if I click on the field name, and if I click on the show API name, then it will show the API name of the field. This is u underscore first underscore name. This is the API name of the field that I have created, right? So whereas coming to this API name, that will be stored in the sys underscore dictionary. That will store in the sys underscore dictionary table. Okay. So we are going to store the API names of the fields in the sys underscore dictionary table. Whereas coming to the label names of the fields, whereas coming to the label name, that means first name. So that means first name. So if you want to see this particularly where it is storing, so you can see that in the sys underscore documentation, guys. Okay. So please remember these three tables. That is very important. One is sys underscore db underscore object. One is sys underscore dictionary. One more is sys underscore documentation. Whereas coming to sys underscore db underscore object, it is directly helping us to locate the master table where we are going to see all the tables data. Okay. So if you search for the tables in the filter navigation, we are directly going for the all the tables in the particular instance, right? In the same way, if you search for the sys underscore db underscore object dot list, it will directly navigate us to the C list of records of a tables. So if you go for the sys underscore dictionary underscore sys underscore dictionary dot list, then it will help me to navigate to the field API names. Okay, it will help me to navigate to the field API names where we are going to see all the API names of each and every table. Okay. So whereas coming to the label names of a field, that will be displayed in the sys underscore documentation. Okay. So please remember this, guys. In case you can note it down. Is that done, guys? Everyone noted? Geeta, please check with the recordings. You have a recording link is been shared in the Telegram group. You can continue with that. Okay. Everyone got the point, guys? So where we are going to see all the data in the different tables. Whereas coming to the storing of each and every data that we are creating, for creating the tables, we are going to see that particular data in the sys underscore db underscore object, guys. Okay. So if you search for directly tables in the particular filter navigation, we are going to see all the tables data, right? Under system definitions, we have an module name that helps to navigate us. So let me go with that. So if I go to the filter navigation, if I search for tables, directly it will help me to navigate to the all the tables data in our instance. So same way, if I want to go to the all tables records that we have in our tables, so we can use directly sysid sys underscore db underscore object dot list. It will also show the same thing. So it will also display the list of records of a table. So in the same way, if you want to see for a field API names. So field API names means API names always start with U underscore that you can identify. That is nothing but a user created field. Okay. So if you want to see the API names of a particular table, then you can search that in a sys underscore dictionary table. If you want to see the label names of a table, then you can search for sys underscore documentation. In the same way, we are going to see all the things has been stored in a different locations. So guys, now let me quickly create one table. Okay, so now let me quickly create one more table with the name faculty. So then after I'm going to create few fields in that so that I can show you how I'm going to fetch a data of a faculty in the student record using reference and dot working concept. Okay. So let me quickly revise you the topic tables as well as fields creation. So to create a table, you need to out the all, then after search for tables. Here you can see all the tables. To create a new table, you need to click on the new. Then after specify the name for the table. So I'm not going to use this extents table. I will going to tell you what is the use of extents table later on. That is the next thing that we are going to do in the class. Okay. So I'm not going to change anything, guys. Let me click on save so that I can create this particular table and save that particular table into the database. If I click on submit, what happens? If I click on submit, what happens, guys? So if I click on tables, what happens? So what is the difference between saving the record and submitting the record here? What is the difference here? So let me tell you once again. So the difference between saving and submitting is nothing but if you click on save from the context menu or form header, it will save the record. It will store the data into the database, and but you will still remain in the same page. Okay, so we can continue our work. But whereas clicking on the submit, what happens? The entire data will be submitted to the database, but we are going to see the list of records again. Okay, so if I click on submit, it will go back to see the list of records once again. But if I click on save, I will be in the same page where I can continue my work. So let me search for my table, faculty, and click on that. So here you can see whenever I'm creating a table, it is automatically creating some things, 6 fields and 1 role, 4 ACLs, as well as application, as well as module for the table. Okay. So now let me quickly create few fields in that, but I will use different way, guys, so that you people can remember. Let me go for the faculty, search for the faculty. So I have a faculty. Let me click on the module name so that I can see the list of records. It is not showing any records here because I haven't created anyone. Just now I created the table. That's why it is empty. So let me click on new button. Now we can see there is no field here. If I want to create a field, so I need to click on the context menu, config. Then after, I can choose any 3 ways, guys. We have 3 ways here. I can pick any one of them and I can create a field. So particularly I'm choosing form design here. So to create a field in that particularly, we need to go to the field types. In that particularly, we can see all the data types that are available in our instance. So whatever the field that you want to create, we need to pick a data type, we need to drag that one to the preview frame, and then after we need to define the label as well as API name for that using form design. But if you go for the form builder, the API name will be automatically generated if you give the label name. So now let me quickly create 2 or 3 fields here. So one is a string. Let me take a string. So let me click on the properties of the field. From here, I can define the name. So the label name that I'm mentioning, that is faculty name. The API name is also same. So now let me click on close and let me add few more fields. So let me go with the same data type so that I can define email of that as well. Save it. So after saving this, what I need to do, I need to go to the previous tab that we have, refresh the page so that we can see the fields that are there. Okay, so these are we are going to create a fields using a form design. Now let me create 2 or 3 records that I can show you how the reference and data walking is working. Okay. Click on submit, but I'm going to do one more thing here, guys. So I already showed the difference between submit and save, but let me show you one more difference we have whenever we are working on multiple records creation. So if you click on the context menu, if I click on save, it will store the data in the record, but we have options to yeah, Hindu, what you can do is like, please contact the support. You can text that in the Telegram group as well. So they will approach you. Okay. So now we have created one record. Now we have created one record and I have clicked on save. That means this particular record has been saved and I can have a changes in this particular record. Okay, so if I want to change anything in this particular record, let me change the email of that particular record. So if I want to change that, I can change that and I can click on update. If I click on update, then it will automatically go back to the list of records once again. But if I want to click on, if I want to stay in the same page, I want to create a new record, then you can go to the context menu once again. Here we have a lot of options that are available. So one is insert and stay, one is save. So suppose in place of save, if I click on insert, that means what happens? It is going to create one more record on this particular data that you have updated. Okay, so let me show you guys. So let me change this to. So I'm going to use insert option here. Going to context menu here. Click on insert. Now what happened? It created two records. So one is we have saved the record. One more is we have created by just modifying the data in that particular record. So let me use my personalized list so that we can see all the fields data. So let me drag the fields that are available that I can use. Okay. So click on save. Now I can see the records is created. Now I will show one more option, insert and stay. How the insert and stay is working. So now I'm going to create test 3 record. Okay. So test@3 gmail.com. So now let me click on save once again. Now I'm changing the data to 4. Okay. So if I click on insert and stay, then means what happens? This particular record also will be created and it will remain in the same page. Okay. So if I click on save, what happens? It will update the data. If I click on insert and stay, that means it will create a new record on the data that you have given and it will be in the same page. Okay. So that's the difference you need to know. If you click on save, if you click on insert, if you click on insert and stay, if you click on submit, if you click on update. Okay. So now let me click on insert and stay. It got saved and now I'm in the same page once again. I can create one more record. 5. Let me click on insert. So now there will be 5 records within a faculty. Okay. So one is test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, test 5. These are we are going to create a records in our particular table. So these many ways we can use creation of a records from the form. So you can use option called save. We can use option called insert. We can use option called insert and stay. We can use option called update. We can use option called submit. So guys, everyone got the clarity? What are the options that we are using and how we are using? Guys, everyone got the clarity, guys? Please let me know. Should I need to repeat it once again? What is the difference between save, submit, insert, insert and stay, update? Everyone, please try to respond. We have 500 members, right? So at least I need to see 100 responses. Give me a quick thumbs up if you understood the concept, guys. Only 1% did understood. Yeah, Krishnaveni, definitely. So very simple, guys. Very simple. So let me close this. It is interrupting me a lot. Yep. So whenever we are working on anything in the ServiceNow, so always we work on a tables. Always we work on a tables. We will open the form of a table. In that particularly we will work on the form of a table. So we will see a lot of things that from a form header that can be from a context menu. So we can use form header as well. We can use context menu as well. Okay. So both will show the same options. So whereas coming to this particularly, if you use save option, then whatever the thing that you are entering here now, okay, whatever thing that you are entering here now, that will be saved. Let me use that save. Okay. So it got saved. Let me show that. I will show that particular record has been created. I'm going to the back option. So you can see one record has been created. If I go to the same record and if I update the data, okay. So if I click on if I enter something new in that particular record, so I have updated the data, then I can use update option. But if you click on save, what happens? It will save the record, but it will still be in the same page where we can modify our data. But if you click on update, then it will update the data into the database, but it will go back to the list of records. Okay, it will go back, going back to the list of records. Now let me go back to the same record here, but using the same data, similar kind of a data, I want to create a new record during some changes. That's it. So let me add 7 over here and 7 over here. So I have just changed the number of a record. Then I can use one more option called insert, or one more option called insert and stay. If I click on insert, it will insert this particular record with a new record format. Okay. If I click on insert, then it will create a new record of this particular current copy. Okay. So whereas coming to the insert and stay, then I will create a new record, but I will stay in the same record. Okay, where I can update myself. If I click on insert, then I will go back to the list of record once again. So you can see seventh record has been created. So if I click on insert and stay, then the seventh record will be created, but it will still remain in the same page so that we can update the data. Okay. So these are the differences that you need to know, guys. So everyone got the clarity? Please give me the thumbs up. What if we are given a duplicate data? So it will accept the duplicate data as per now. Okay, it will accept the duplicate data as per now, guys, because we haven't given any kind of a automation to that. Okay, we even can set certain kind of things for the automation so that we can enter only the single value. Okay, it won't allow the duplicate values. So everyone got the clarity? Please let me know, guys, so that we can continue with the reference. Please come fast, guys. Everyone should respond. Give me the quick thumbs up, everyone. So in the chat itself, not in the chat, in the emojis reactions, we have a thumbs up option. So everyone, please give me the thumbs up option. So please tell me how to open Creator Studio. Naga Venkata Shiva. So if you go to the instance, so if I go to the main page, from here I can directly open the Creator Studio. If I click on it, it will open the Creator Studio. But now as for now, we need to continue our topic, right? I will tell that later. Okay. Everyone got the clarity, guys? Yep, that's great. I got good response now. Now we are working on the reference field. So you all already know about the reference field, why we use reference fields as well. So let me show you the sorry, we already discussed with that, right? Yeah. So let me show the PPT here. So you can see the different definition for the difference table. It is nothing but a collecting data from the different table. So let me give that for the student. From I'm going to calculate and collect the data from the mentor. Okay. So now I'm just going to student table. Let me go to the students. Mentor, click on the module name. Go to the new. So here you can see I already used this particular test users as my test model where I have explained the difference. Now let me create one more reference field in that student object so that will help you to catch the mentors. Okay. So I will also remove this test users. Okay. Not permanently, but temporarily. So I'm going to form layout. So why I always go with the form layout is like I have a lot of the things that I have used is using form layout. That's why I always pick the form layout. That's your choice, guys. You can use any one of them. Okay. So from here, I'm going to remove test users. That is for a temporary purpose, not a permanent. So it will be in the available section where if you want to search for that, you can search for that. And you can directly drag that to the main icon. So let it be. So I will show the difference as well. How you can identify the reference tables from the list. Okay. So one I'm going to create with the name of faculty. So getting the data reference. And which table I need to refer, guys? Which table I need to refer here? The table I need to get the records. From which table I need to refer? Naga Venkata, please contact the support team. Otherwise, you can directly contact the admins in the Telegram. We need to directly tag that to the reference table. So what is the reference table here? Where we are going to get the data? Where we are going to get the data? So here the reference field is faculty. So search for that. U underscore faculty is right. So select that and add it. Click on save. So that I can see that on the student form. So guys, here we have observed that we can see one thing. Okay, so where we are going to get one field in that particularly, I'm going to assign a teacher for the particular student. Okay, so I can directly go to the filter and I can directly select the student. But here, what is it is showing, guys? What is the thing that is displaying over here? It is showing the created date and time. It is not displaying the faculty name. So for that particularly, we are going to use one function, one configuration that I will explain. Okay. So here, if you see, if I'm selecting any record, if I go to the lookup, if I select any record, it will directly navigate me to select a created date and time, but it is not selecting a student or faculty name here. Okay. So if I want to select faculty name over here, then what can I do? I need to go back. Okay. So where I have created this particular table, I'm going to there, faculty. Okay. So for this particularly faculty name, I'm making display value as true. Display value as true. Save it. Update it. Now I'm back in the students. Okay. Now I'm back in the students records. Now let me click on new. Now if I go to the faculty name and if I search for the record, it will give the name of the faculty now. Okay. So how we are using the functionalities, guys? So previously we have used read-only option as well as mandatory option. Now you got to know why the display is working, how the display is working. Got the clarity, guys? How the display is working? We can define that from here itself. Okay, so let me go back here. So if I go to the faculty name, config dictionary, so from here I can set this as a display checkbox true. So that what happens whenever I am going to pick any value, that will automatically pick the name that you have mentioned as a display as true. Okay. Otherwise, it will automatically picks the random value. Previously, it was picking the created date, but now if I click on any record, it is automatically picking the data from the record as a faculty name. So let me go and select one of the faculty once again. I will show you how it is picking the data. So it is showing test one. That is the faculty one name. Okay. This is how it is going to work if you select display as a true. Got it, guys? How it is working? Got the clarity? How it is working? Guys, my network is fine. Check with your connection. Shilpa. Geetika, explain once again. Okay, so let me take this. Okay. So here what it is showing, guys. Here what it is showing, faculty name is test one, right? It is always picking the name of the faculty. It is always picking the name of the faculty. But now I want to see the email of the faculty should be representing over there whenever I'm clicking on the record. So if I click on the lookup icon, if I click on any one of the record here, it should show the email of the record. It should show the email of the record. But for that, what can I do? It is coming from which table? It is coming from which table? It is directly coming from faculty table, right? So now I need to go to the faculty table. So I'm using history here to go to the faculty table. So here is the faculty table. Click on that faculty table. I'm not saving the record. That's why I'm always clicking on the leave. Okay. So here you can see this is the fields that we created. This is the fields that we created. For this specifically, I have selected faculty name should be true as a display value. If that is false, if this particular thing is false, then if I choose any value in the reference, okay, then it will automatically pick the random one. So previously it was showing the created date and time. Now, if I make this particular field value as true, then it will show the value that should be displayed on the reference record. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm making this email should be shown on the record whenever I'm picking any record from the faculty name. Okay. So that should be true. Okay. Update that particularly whenever we are working on the form, what we need to do, we need to update that. So now we are back in the student form. Now if I pick any record from the faculty, then it will display the email of that. So whatever the thing that you want to display, whenever you are selecting from the reference record, then you can select the display option as true so that it will directly give you the value. That may be an email, that may be a name, that may be any field value that you want to represent on the particular form. Okay. As coming to the student form, we need only the name of the faculty. There is no need of a student email. So for that, I'm going back and doing the same thing once again so that you people can remember. Going to the faculty table. So making this field as true. So what if there is two values as true, then it will automatically pick the value that is coming in the first. Okay. So that's why we can decide which value should be displayed and which value should not be displayed. If you make multiple values true, then it will automatically pick one random value also. Okay. So now if you go and select any one of the faculty name, then it will show the faculty name. Okay. So got the clarity, guys? Got the clarity? Clear, right? Easy also. Very easy. That's great. Now we are going to discuss one topic called dot working, guys. So everyone got to know about the difference field, right? How it is working. Everyone got to know how the difference field is working. Now, so everyone got to know how the reference field is working. Why use reference tables? So basically, whenever we are working on the table, right? So we always pick the data from the different tables. So where we can get the records and we can directly match that to the table. So let me consider, guys. Let me consider where we have multiple tables called location. Okay. So location, users, as well as incidents. Okay. So we have three different tables: users, and one is incidents, one is location. So if I want to see these three different tables data in a single table, whenever I'm working on the student record, I want to display from which location that particular student is coming from and from what is the ticket he is raising. Okay. And even I want to see the thing called who is the additional person that he is looking for. Okay. That means caller. So he can check with the caller where that person is going to check with the ticket, and the student is going to directly fetch the records of an incident table by checking the reference field, okay, as an incident. And even he can decide the caller by taking the reference field as a user, and even he can select the location by taking the reference field as a location. So there is no need of entering data manually, right? So he is directly going to pick the data from the reference tables, where in this particular reference tables we have an existing data. So we are going to see the data directly. Okay. So this is how we are going to work on the reference fields. Now we can continue with the dot working. So dot working is not additional concept, guys. That is the continuation of the reference table. So that is also very easy. Let me continue with that. So whereas coming to the reference table, you are going to see all the things that are coming from the different tables, right? So we are going to observe the records that are coming from the different tables by just indicating the reference as a my data type. So whereas coming to this particular reference type, so now let me show you the difference that you can observe whenever you are choosing the reference type as a data type for the field, and if that is not a reference type, how it is going to be displayed on the form layout. So now I'm going to the context menu, config, form layout. Here you can see in the available section, we have two fields. One is faculty name, one is test user. These two are indicated with the green color. Okay, these two are indicated with the green color. Thus, that are nothing but a reference fields. Okay, so these how we are going to identify which are the reference fields that are available in our particular table. So, whereas coming to the dot working concept, what is the dot working concept is whatever the reference field that you are choosing. Okay, so suppose go back to the form of a student. Here, whenever I'm picking a record, any faculty name, if I pick any faculty name, then it is going to display the faculty name only here. But student want to see even additional data also, where student can connect to the faculty and student can mail to the faculty. So additionally, we have one more option, that is the dot working. So how we are going to do that and what is the main purpose of that is like, so whatever the record that we are selecting over here in the reference record, for that particular record, we are going to fetch other details of the record as well. We are going to fetch other details of the record as well. So here it is directly showing the faculty name. What are the other details that we have? That is faculty email also, right? If I want to display the faculty email here, I can't display that directly over here in the record. So for that, we are going to use particular concept called dot working. So to do that, we always use form layout. That won't be done in the form design, that can't be done in the form builder as well. So we can't do this dot working option in the form builder as well as form design. So let me click on context menu, config, form layout. Okay. So if I go with the reference fields that are indicated with the green color, right? That are indicated with the green color, you can check that. So if I click on any field beside that, you can see there are no more options extra over available section. So whereas coming to this particularly, if I click on so whereas coming to the particularly to the reference fields, if I click on any reference field from the list, okay, then we are going to see one option called hierarchy. Okay, so we are going to see additional option over here. That symbol indicates the hierarchy of a table. So if I click on this expand selected reference field, then it is going to show all the fields that are available in that particular table. Okay, so these are the fields that are available in the faculty name. Rather than that, we can see the faculty name is been decided. Okay, now if I go to the email of that, now if I go to the email of that particular faculty should be displayed. If I click on any faculty record, I need to select that particular email and I need to add that to the selector section. Then you can see here faculty name is there. Then after faculty name dot email is also there. So that indicates directly to show the record details of a faculty name whenever I'm clicking on the faculty record. Okay. So if I select a faculty name, then it is automatically giving the email of the faculty also. This is how we are going to work on the dot working. So let me click on save and show the example perfectly. Then after I will do this particular things again also, guys. Okay. So that you can understand. So let me save it. Now you can see here, I haven't created any particular field called email, but it is directly showing one field called email here. Okay, it is directly showing one field called email. Now let me pick one record for the faculty name. Let me pick one record for the faculty name. So I have selected testify faculty, then it is automatically showing the email of the testify faculty. So these how the dot working going to work. Okay. So these how the dot working is going to work. Got the clarity, guys, how it is working? Yeah, Gangotri, that's fine. You can use that as that particular data type as also. So, but here we call that as a reference. Guys, got the clarity? Let me take one more example, or should I need to do? So what if email is true? Arjun Kumar. So whereas coming to this email is true and name is also true, then it only pick one name, right? It only pick one thing from that particular reference table. Then we can display other data. Okay. So that's why I will make sure that whatever the data that I'm going to display, whatever the data that is going to be displayed, that I can select in a field only. So that will, I will pick the field and I will pick the display format of the field. So could you please define dot working again? So dot working is nothing but if you want to get a data from the record that you have selected in the reference table, we can do that using a dot working. So whereas coming to the dot working, it will directly show the multiple fields data of a particular table. It will show the multiple fields data of a particular table that you are going to select. Okay. So whereas coming to this particularly on particular field that you are working on, faculty name. So if I select any faculty name, then it should directly display the email of that faculty also, so that student can directly connect to that person and talk to that person. Okay. So this is how we are going to work on a dot working. So let me take one more example for the test user so that everyone can understand and everyone can work on this particular concept. So here also same thing I'm going to do, guys. From the user table, I'm going to fetch the data of a user. So where I'm going to get the location of the user. Otherwise, where I'm going to get the email of the user. Sorry. So where I'm going to get the email of the user or location of the user. So let me do that first. So for that, what we need to do, we need to go to the context menu, config, form layout. Then after, you can see all the reference fields with the green color in the available section. So we have an available section over here. In that particularly, we can identify what are the reference fields that we are having for the particular table. So if you go for the test user, that is one of the reference field that I have. If I want to get additional fields data from that particular record that I'm going to select, then I need to expand that. Okay. If I click on this hierarchy icon, then it is going to show. So see here, guys, it is going to see all the user fields here. So it is showing me user fields, not the student fields. These are all fields that I'm seeing now. These are the user fields. So I can pick multiple fields from this and I can add that to the selector section. So now let me add email here. So you can see this is test users.email. So now I'm going to see the test user email, whatever the user that I'm going to select in the user record. So then it is going to show me the record email of that as well. Rather than that, you are going to see multiple green color things, right? Multiple green color fields also here. Okay. So in the particular table that you are selecting, if there is another reference fields in that, we can do that as well. Okay. So let me click on company here and I can extend these as well. Okay. I can click on extend. I can extend this particular field as well. So what it is showing now? What it is showing now? Now it is showing company fields. Now it is showing company fields, not user fields. Now it is showing company fields. The things that you are seeing at the beside of that particularly, at the downside of that particular field, all the fields are company fields. Now, if I want to add any field from this, I can add directly and I can move that to this particular section. Then you can see, guys, is selecting test users dot company dot country. So whatever the field that I'm getting, that is coming from company, but that is also coming from test user. So this is nothing but a second level of dot working. So previously we have observed that only first level of dot working, where we are going to see the field of a reference table. Okay, field of a reference table. But whereas coming to the multiple levels of dot working, we can do multiple levels of dot working, guys. This is the second level of dot working. So where we are going to see test users table. So from the users table, we are going to the company table. From that company table, we are going to catch the country. Okay, we are going to catch the country of that particular company. Okay, so these how we are going to work on the different levels of dot working. So whereas coming to the dot working, we can go up to 30 levels of a dot working, guys. So we can go to up to 30 levels of a dot working. That means we can go to up to 30 reference tables. Okay, we can go to up to 30 reference tables where we can get the data of that 30 reference tables. Suppose if I want to go back to the previous one, I can directly click on that. It will be removed and I can add the remaining fields that I want to add over here. So let me add one more field also. Okay. So here you can see first level of dot working and this is the second level of dot working. We can also do up to 30 levels of dot working. That means we are going inside the tables of the 30 tables. Okay. Now let me click on save. So you can see under test user account, I will see lot of fields are created that are coming from the user table only. So whatever the user that I'm going to select here. Now suppose let me click on system admin. Then it is displaying the email of the system admin and which domain he belongs to and from which country he belongs to. Okay. So these how we are going to fetch the data of the record. So this is the work of a dot working, guys. Okay. Everyone got the clarity how we are going to do the dot working? Guys, please tell me. Everyone got the concept dot working? Prabhas, it's very simple. Suppose we are working on the Suppose we are working on one table, guys. Okay, assume that. Suppose we are working on the student table. In that particular student table only, I want to fetch faculty details where which faculty has been assigned to that person and the faculty details of that person that has been assigned to the student. Okay, so but whereas coming to the reference field, I can only decide the field that can be displayed on the reference. Okay, I can only decide only one field value can be displayed on the field. So, but whereas coming to the this particular reference, sorry, dot working, what happens? Whatever the field that I want to display, I can display on the reference. But what are the other fields that I want to display rather than the field that I have selected? I can do that by using dot working. So that are a reference field, right? I can extend that particularly that field values, whatever the field values that I want to display for that particular record, I can drag that to the selected section and I can click on save so that all the fields that I want to show whenever I'm selecting one record, that record values will be updated there on there itself. Okay. So that is nothing but a dot working. So guys, please let me know how many of you got the concept. So what is extensive? Yeah, next we are going to discuss that only. Uday. Next, we are going to discuss extents table, guys. That is also one of the interesting topic. So whatever the thing that I'm teaching, right, guys, please watch the recordings as well and try to perform that in your free developer instance. Okay. Then only you can understand the each and everything very clearly. Guys, please give a quick response. How many of you got the concept called dot working? And let me ask one question here itself. What is the maximum levels of dot working that I can do for the single table? What is the maximum dot workings I can do for the single table? That means single field. Everyone, please try to reply for that. Now tell me. So here, test user got the email, test user got the domain, and test user got the country. So which levels of dot working here has been applied for the test user email, test user domain, and test user country? Please, everyone should respond to me. For test user email, what is the level of dot working, guys? For test user email, what is the level of dot working? What is the level of dot working? For test user email, what is the level of dot working? That is first level of dot working. Okay, so that is first level of dot working because we are directly getting data from the first table itself, user table. Okay, that is not the second level. Most of the people directly telling that it is second level. That's wrong. So that is the first level of dot working where we are going to see the data from the table directly. Okay. So from the user table itself, we are picking the data, right? So whenever I'm selecting a user, from that only I'm going to see the email of that user also. So whereas coming to the domain, guys, domain, what is the level of dot working given for the domain, user domain? So let me give a quick thing so that you can identify, guys. So whenever you are going to the form layout, right? Whenever you are working on a form layout, you can see dots, right? You can see the dots here. So this is test user dot email. That means it is catching the data of an email from the user table. That is first level of dot work. If you see two dots, that is nothing but second level of dot work. Okay. So test user dot company dot country. So here company. So we are going to see the country of a company, not the user. Okay. So and this company is coming from user. Okay, so that means we are going to see the country that is for the company and he is working in that particular this user is particularly working in this particular company. Okay, so this is how we are going to see the level of dot working and this is the easy identification that you can find out, guys. Okay, so if you go for the one dot, it will be nothing but second first level of dot working. If you go for the second, it will be a second level of dot working. If you go for the three dots, that means three references tables. That is nothing but a third level of dot working. So what is the best approach that you can use for the dot working is like go for the first or second level of dot working. Rather than that, don't go for multiple levels of dot working. Okay. Even ServiceNow doesn't suggest us to go for the multi-level of dot working. So we have an option. We can go for the 30 levels of dot working, but don't go for that. The best choice to go for the dot working is to two, max two, not more than two, because you can't identify which field data has been appeared on the form from which table. So if you go for the student table only, so let me go back here, guys. I told that this country is coming from company. Okay, so I told that this company, so this country is coming from company table. But if you select any user, that is directly displaying the country, right? If you select any user, if I select any user, it is directly displaying the company. Sorry, here there is no data. No problem. Select any user, it is directly displaying the company. Sorry, it is directly displaying the country, but this country is coming from the company table, but it is not indicating over here. That's why don't use multi levels of dot working. Prefer to use only second level of dot working is the max one. Okay, got the clarity, guys? Not going to use multi levels of dot working up to where we have the limit, but we always prefer to go with the first level of dot working, max to max, second level of dot working. That's it. Okay. So now, guys, please, everyone are ready? Please tell me to discuss one more topic, that is extents table. That is the last one that we have in the table relationships. I need a quick thumbs up, guys. Everyone, from everyone. From everyone means everyone should give the thumbs up, right? Not only one person should spam that. Yeah, that's great. Yes, let me continue that. Close this. Guys, you already know that. You already know that task is been extended. Okay, sorry, incident is been extended from the task table, where whatever the fields that we have, that is coming from the task table. So for that reference, I will show that how we are going to check whether this is been extended from the task table or not. So for that, I'm going to the tables, guys. Tables. So under system definitions, we are going to see the module with the name tables. Click on that so that we are going to see all the tables that are available in our instance. So here, let me search for the task first to show it is not extended from any other table. Let me search for the task. You can see this is a task table, guys. Let me click on that. So task table has been there here, and you can see there is no extended table for this particularly. There is no extended table option is visible for this particularly. So that's why we call this task table as a base table. Also a core table, but we call this as a base table. And we have one more base table, that is CMDB. And whatever the custom tables that we create that is not extended from any other table, that is also nothing but a base table. Okay. Here you can see there are almost 71 fields are there. Okay, there are almost 71 fields are there in this particular task table. So there is not a mandatory thing that whatever the fields that you are given that from this particular table, that should be there on the child. Okay, so I will explain in detailly while going with the extents table, guys. So that is not going to complete today. So we are going to continue that tomorrow as well. So basically, we observe that in task table, we have 71 fields that are created. So now let me go with the incident. Let me open incident table. You can see incident table is been extended from the task table. And here we have 96 fields. That means whatever the 71 fields that are created, whenever we are clicking on the extend button, so we have selected the table called task, right? That all fields are coming to the incident as well, and we are going to create few more fields as well, so that we are going to work on our scenario. So in the same way, let me show you how we are going to create an extended table. Okay, so let me show you how we are going to create an extended table and what are the different scenarios that we are going to work on the extended table. So extended table is nothing but a catching the exact properties, inheriting the exact properties of a parent table, where that may be a fields or field configurations as well. So that may be a field or the field configurations also. That means if there is any field configuration acting on that particular field. So let me go to the students so that I can clearly explain you easily. Student record, new record. So now I'm in the student table, right? Now I'm in the student table. Here you can see date of joining is the read-only field and passed out year is a mandatory field, guys. Okay. Suppose if I extend this particular table and if I create one more table, then what are the fields that you are seeing here? All the fields will be given to the child table, as well as even the properties of the field. That means the configurations of the fields also comes. That means this is the mandatory field, right? Whatever the field that I'm going, so whatever the table that I'm going to extend from this table, for that particular table also, I'm going to see this particular field as a mandatory field and this particular field as a read-only field. Okay. So for that, basically, I'm going to make last name also mandatory so that we can easily identify the differences. Into the config dictionary, so we even can make a field mandatory from different ways. So from any one of you guys, please tell me how many ways we can make a field mandatory. How many ways we can make a field mandatory, guys? Please let me know. Venkataramana saying is 5. Okay. So what are the 5 ways, guys? Please tell me. How you can create a field mandatory using 5 ways? Even I don't know that. So guys, there are 3 different ways where we can create a field mandatory or read only. So one is from the config dictionary, where we are going to click on the field label name and we are going to config dictionary and we are going to control the properties of a field. We are going to configure that field and we are going to make the changes of the field. But if you want to do the same things, field mandatory or read only, we can go using form design or form builder also. Okay. We even can do the same things using form builder and form designer, but we can't do that using form layout. Okay. So that is not possible using form layout. That is also one difference. That is also one difference you got to know now. Okay. We can't create a field mandatory, field read only using form layout. And we also got to know that we can't create a dot working using form builder and form designer. We can create that using only form layout. Each and everything has some importance, guys. That's why that is not removed yet as per now. So that may be updated to the form builder once again. Then this may be not useful for more. Okay. Now what I'm doing, I'm making the last name field as a mandatory field so that this particular data should be entered to save the record. Okay. Click on update. So here you can check the last name is became mandatory. Okay. So if I click on save or submit, then it is asking for me to enter last name as well as passed out here to save the record. So these are the 2 mandatory fields that I got to know. So let me close this. I'm not going to create any record over here. So now I will show you. Now I will show you how we are going to extend this particular table and create one more table to see the exact properties of that particular table. So let's assume that we are going to create one more table called activities, where whatever the student data that I am going to store in that activities are similar kind of a fields that I can use in the student. Okay. So activities, we have one table that I'm going to create that is with the name of activities. For that particular table, I'm going to use student data. I'm going to use the student data. For that, I'm going to create a fields also, right? So I'm going to create the fields also, but we can create a fields without even using all the methods that we have. We can directly extend the student table and we can directly call the fields that we have and we can use the tables from the external table. Okay. So how we are going to do that? Let me show you. So going to search for my table student. So to extend the table, first we need to do search for our own table, that is student table. Let me go to the student table. So here itself, we have three sections, right? Here itself, we have three sections. One is columns, one is controls, one is application access. So where we are going to see the level of access controls that are read, write, and delete and create. Okay. So whereas come to the controls, we are going to see some kind of things, guys. We are going to see some kind of things that are one is role of a table that you all know already, and one is auto number. So I already told that we can't create an auto number using data types from the form layout or form builder or form design. We can use that particular data type using table only. So whenever the table has been created, we can directly define the auto number of the table. If I click on this particular active button, I need to directly define the specifications of the table. I can't remove that after enabling that. So once if you enable that auto number, then you can't remove that. So I will do that for the later of that. Okay. So I'm going to create one more record. So I'm going to create one more table right here, activities. For that particularly, I'm going to create auto number also. I will show how it is going to display. So as coming to our topic, that is extensible, right? Extensible. So in that particularly, let me click on this option called extensible, so that what are the properties that is been there in this table should be given to the next table. If this particular option is disabled, we can't find the table in the extends table option. Okay. So please remember, guys, I'm just enabling extensible option in the student table, but I'm not doing the same thing in the faculty. I'm going to show two different things over there also while creating the activities table. So now let me click on update here. So now I have extended my table. Now let me create one table to select the extends table so that I can get the properties of the table that I'm choosing. Okay. So now let me click on new here. Here I'm naming that as activities. So let me define activity. So in the extends table, here, let me search for my table that I have extended, that is student. So let me search with the API name u underscore student. So I can find my table u underscore student. Let me search for the faculty also, but that is not extended, right? That is not enabled with the extensible option. So let me search for that as well, whether I'm able to find that or not. So you can see if I search for u underscore faculty, I'm not able to search my record. So I'm not able to search my record in the extensible table. So what I need to do, I need to go for the student table here. So that has been extended already. So if I select this extend table, so here you can see in the columns, if I click on save or submit, what happens, it do create six particular fields as a default, right? But in this particular case, if I select any extensible table over here, extends table over here, then what are the fields that are already created in the extends table also will be created in this particular table that I'm going to create now. Okay, for the clarity, what are the fields or properties that are there in the student table also going to apply to the same table, because I am extending the table of an activity to the student so that I can get the properties of the student. Let me click on save. See here, you can see there are multiple fields are created. Even any one of the field that you choose here, I haven't created any one of the field, guys. I haven't created any one of the field from this. These fields are automatically coming from the student table. I can't change that as well. So once this has been done, I can't change that. Okay. Suppose if you are selecting extensible table as one table, if you want to change that, that is not possible. Suppose if you are saving the record without choosing extends table, you can't add the extends table for that particular table that you created. Okay. So now we got to know how we are going to extend the table and how we are going to get the properties of that particular table. Okay. So now let me search for the activity table and let me show you how it is going to appear. Let me update it. So let me search for the activities. Here is the activities. Click on it. Here you can see there are no records because just now I have created the table. If I click on new, you all can see, right? You all can see all the fields that are created, all the fields that are created in the student table that are visible over here. All the fields that are created in the student table that are visible over here in the activities table also. This is how we are going to use the extensible table. Extends table. Okay. So why we are going to use that is like whenever we got a scenario where we are going to design a new table, we always check with the existing data, guys. So we always check with the existing data so that we can easily create a table using the existing fields. Because we can modify the field label names, right? We can modify the field label names that we want. But we don't need to create the exact fields that are there already. So if you want to create the fields, it will take a lot of time. So now itself, I have created this many fields without even creating one field in my activities. I have directly used extensible option and I have selected as a extensible table as students. Then I have got the properties of a students in the activities table. So this is nothing but inheriting the properties of a parent. So here child is activities and student is the parent. So whereas coming to the child, it is always inherit the properties of a student. Got the idea, guys? Got the idea, guys? Guys, please respond to me. Everyone got the idea how it is working? So we will discuss a lot of scenarios based on this only. If that is clear, we can continue. Please give the thumbs up. If that is not clear, I will go with one more example. Please let me know. Shilpa, yep, definitely. I'm going to explain with one more example. Guys, please respond to me. Everyone should respond to me. Yeah. So someone is asking for the one more explanation, and few people are already got the idea of the entire external table. So now let me explain one more example with the same thing, guys. No need to worry about it. Okay. So here, let me go with the tables once again. So extends table is nothing but getting the properties of the parent table, guys. That's it. Getting the properties of a parent table where we don't need to create all the tables, all the fields that are already there, where we can use that. Okay. We are just making that particular table as an extensible table, and we are calling that particular table in our table as a extends table, so that we are going to get the exact properties of a table that we choose. Okay, here activities is a child table and parent is a student table, where when I'm going to create the activities, I got to know that what are the fields that I'm going to create in the activities or similar kind of a fields in the student. Then what I did, I have extends, I'm going to the student table, then I have enabled one option called extensible. Then that field can be, so that particular table can be appear in the extends table. Okay. If that is not enabled, then I can't see that particular field. So I already explained with different example also, where when I'm searching with the faculty, I can't see that. But if I search with the students, I can see that. So let me do the same thing once again. So going to the tables, let me create one more table, guys. No need to worry. So here I'm naming with as a test demo. So I'm also going to delete this because no need use of this particular table, right? So here, if I search for incident, it is not going to show me the incident table as my extends table because it is not enabled with one option, that is extensible. So how we are going to do that? For that, we are going back, leave it. I'm not going to create that. So we need to search for my table, that where we want to get the properties of the table. So this is a table, right? So let me go with the table. Then after in the controls, you need to go to the option called extensible. So here, if you enable this option only, then only you are going to find, update it. Okay. Then only you are going to find that particular option in the extensible. Can let me search for now. If I search for incident, I got the incident now. Okay, so now let me create one test demo table. Now you can see there are no fields are created as for now. If I click on submit or save, I can see a lot of fields will be created automatically because these are coming from the incident table. Okay, no field is been created in the test demo. All the fields that are coming here, all the fields are coming from the incident table only. Let me save that. Now the data has been saved to the database. You can see in the columns, we have multiple fields now. So you can see the count of the fields also 97. So we already discussed with this thing. We have 97 fields in the incident table. So all the fields that are there in the incident table got here now. So if I go with the test demo table also, like front end view of the test demo, I can see the same preview also. If I go to the list of records, if I go with the new, I will see the exact preview of a incident record. So if I click on a new, so this is the exact preview, right? This is the exact preview that we are going to use for the incident table. So the same preview we are going to display for the test demo as well. So got it now? Everyone got it? Sir, can we extend the activities table without creating any records because it is having student records? So that is not depending on the records, guys. That is not depending on the records. It is depending on the field configurations. So whatever the fields that are there in that particular table, I'm getting the fields, not the records. So if you observe that, so please, if you observe that, now I got the configurations of the incident table. That means I got the number field, caller field, category field, subcategory fields. I got the fields, but I haven't received any records. You see that, right? This is the new table that we are going to create, but I'm going to use the existing configuration. That's it. I'm going to use the existing configuration that may be helpful for me to create a new table, but I'm not creating a records in that particular table. So sorry, I'm not getting any records from that particular table. Okay. So we are always calling the configuration. Clear? Guys, clear? Can we continue? So now I have a simple question, guys. I have a simple question. Now we have created students and activities, right? Let me open both of them. So now I have opened the student records. I have opened the activities records, but as coming to the activities, there are no records. Let me use personalized list here so that I can display something on the. Okay. So I have selected these fields to be displayed on the activities. So there are no records as for now. You can go for the student. There are some records, but if you see, if I create any record in the activities, what will happen? See, guys. Now I'm going to create one record in the students. So I'm just filling the mandatory data. So here the pass dot here is this one, and there is no mandatory fields. Yeah, save it. Now click on submit. Now I have created one record in the activities, guys. Now I have created one record in the activities that is with the name of test extended. Okay. So if I go with the students, if I refresh this page, you can see the record that I have created in the child that will be also visible in the parent. Okay. The record that I have created in the activities that will also visible in the parent object. Now I am going to see the same record in the student object also. Okay. Got it, guys? Got it? Whatever the record that I'm going to create in the student object, the same record is going to populate in the parent object as well. So whereas coming to the parent, now I'm in the parent, right? Now I'm in the student object. So if I go to the new option, student table, new, let me create one more test here. Test to extend. if I create a new record in the parent, that means in the student, if I click on submit, now I have created one more record that is with the name of test2 extended. So let me go with the activities. Let me refresh the page. So if I create a record in the parent object, that won't appear in the child. Okay. So whatever the records that are created in the child, that will definitely going to appear in the parent. But whatever the records that are going to create in the parent, that are not going to appear in the child. Okay. Got the clarity, guys? So now let me discuss one more point here. So here you can see, guys, if I click on the new in the activities, these are the form and fields that you're going to see now. Okay. So these all fields that you're seeing here, if I want to change any configuration, if I want to change any configuration of this particular fields, like I want to make a field mandatory of a student department in the activities, and that should not be there in the students. Otherwise, I want to make a field skill set should be mandatory in the student, or that should not be mandatory in the activities. So for this, we have a specific concept called dictionary override. Okay. So for this particular thing, we have a specific concept called dictionary override. So how we are going to deal with that? Let me discuss. Okay. So here, now I'm in the student records. You can see I'm in the student records. So here, last name is the mandatory field. Last name is the mandatory field in the student object. So whereas coming to the activities also, last name is the mandatory field. Okay. So last name is the mandatory field. Guys, I will discuss this topic tomorrow because there is no enough time for that. No problem. So let me continue with a similar topic that is going to help you to work on the extents table also. So we will discuss dictionary override concept tomorrow class. We will start with the dictionary override and we will continue with the creation of application as well as modules in the instance. Okay. So before that, before concluding my class, I'm going to discuss something like before doing this kind of a dictionary override. So we have created one thing, right? So we have created parent record, parent table and child table. So parent table is student and child table is activities. Okay, here is the activities. Here is the parent table students. Now, if I create any field in the parent table, that will appear in the student or not? Please tell me, guys. If I create any field in the parent table, that means in the student table, that is going to appear in the child. If I create any parent record, sorry, not record, parent table field. I'm asking about field, not record. Previously, I have discussed about the record. Now I'm asking about the field, guys. If I create any field in the parent, if that is going to be displayed in the child or not. So some are saying yes, some are saying no. So let me create that one field fastly. So the name of the field is test from parent. So name of the field is test from parent, guys. I'm giving the random name so that I can identify easily. Add it, click on save. So now I have created one field in the student. You can see that is appearing on the form. You can see test from parent. Okay. So test from parent that is being created in the student. Okay. So let me go back to the activities. Let me refresh the page. Let me refresh the page. Here you can see there is no field is been created. Okay, there is no field is been created. Now tell me whether if I create any field in the child, that is going to appear in the parent. Now if I going to create one more field in the child, that is in the activities, if that is going to appear in the parent, the field that I'm going to create now in the child is test from child. Okay, so the field that I'm going to create now is going to available or appear in the parent. Yes, sir, it appears. Okay. So previously, guys, before doing that, okay, so let me go to the activities. Let me check from the form layout as well. Okay, let me check from the form layout as well. So I'm going to the form layout to show whether that field is there or not. So here you can see the field that we created in the parent that has been available over here. Okay, I can add this particular field to my layout. I can save that. Okay, that means the field that I have created in the parent that is being given to the child. Got it? That is S for the first scenario. Now I'm going to create one field. Now I'm going to create one field in the activities. Now let me check for the parent as well. Going to the config, form layout. So test from child. Add it. So you can see one more field has been added. Save it. Now this field has been adding in the child, guys. That is in the activities. If people said that I can see this particular field in the parent. Okay. We are going to check that. You all can see the field, right? Test from child. Now let me go back to the parent. Here you can see test from parent. Now let me refresh that. Let me refresh once again. I can't see that. Even I'm going to check with the config form layout. You can see there is no particular field with the name test from child. Got the idea, guys? The first scenario will work whenever I create any field in the parent that is going to be appeared in the child. But if I create any field in the child, that is not going to appear in the parent. Okay. So I think most of you people confused and given the different answer. Got the clarity, guys? Everyone, please respond to me. Got the clarity? So now tell me, if I create any field in the parent, is that going to appear in the child? Please press 1 in the Q&A. If that is going to visible in the child, if that is not, please type 2 in the Q&A. Whatever the field that I'm going to create in the parent, that is going to be displayed in the child. So for that, if you are thinking that that will be visible, type 1 in the Q&A. If that is not going to be visible, type 2 in the Q&A. So most of the people are saying that yes, yep. Gangotri, I think you have confused a little bit. The option is 1. Okay. So whereas coming to this, you people can see the field that has been created in the parent that also will be visible in the child. Okay. Whereas coming to the creation of field in the child, that won't be visible in the parent. Okay. So whatever the field that I'm going to create in the child, that is not going to be visible in the parent. But whatever the fields that are going to be created in the parent, that will be visible in the child. Whereas coming to the records, whatever the records that are created in the parent, that won't be visible in the child. But whatever the records that are created in the child, that will be visible in the parent. That is somewhat reverse and vice versa. Okay. So please understand the concept clearly, guys. If you want me to explain once again, I'm going to do that. No need to worry about that. But please understand that very clearly. Okay. Got the idea, guys, how it is going to work? So if I start explaining dictionary override, it will take a lot of time, guys. So that's why I'm stopping here. So tomorrow in the first starting thing, I'm going to discuss about the dictionary override. Then after we are going to continue with the next concepts that are applications and modules. How we are going to create applications, why we are going to create applications, and how we are going to create modules, why we are going to create modules, and what are the different things that we are going to observe in that particular thing. Okay. So if anyone having any doubts regarding the session, today's session, you can ask me, guys, now. Any topic that you want, that you pick, you can ask me. because still we have 5 more minutes. So today's first topic, explain once again. Venkataramana, that is very easy. Okay, that is very easy. So that is nothing but a reference table. So how we are using, where we are using the reference table is like, suppose we want to collect a different data from the single table. Okay, so we can use reference tables over there so that we are going to collect the multiple tables data in a single table. Okay, so whereas coming to the incident, if you go for the incident, let me show that as well. When the incident form here, create new. If you go for the incident form here, this is the incident form, right? Here, there are different fields available over here, but for a few particular fields, there is a lookup icon. For few particular fields, there is a lookup icon. These particular fields we call reference fields. Whatever the fields that you are creating using a reference field, for that field, we are going to specify one table also. We are going to specify one table also. Why we are going to do that is like, whenever we are specifying any table for that particular field that we are creating, we are going to get the data inside the table. We are going to get the data inside the table. That means we are going to fetch all the records from the table. We are going to fetch all the records from the table. So as coming to the caller here, you can see this is fetching all the users data, all the users data. So these are all the users that we have in the system, right? So these how we are going to use reference field. That's it. Any more doubts, guys? So explain fields once again, parent and child. Gitika, that is very simple. Okay. So whereas considering student as a parent and child as activity, because I assume that whatever the things that I want to implement in my activities table, that means whatever the data that I want to store in my activities table, that is exactly similar like a student. But I'm going to add extra fields over there. That's it. Where I'm going to store one more field called activities in the activities table, and I'm going to store the activities data over there. But whatever the data that is required to collect the data, that is matching with the student. Okay, because students are performing on different activities, right? Before going to fetch the activities, I want to see the data of the student as well. There itself, I can use the reference also. There itself, I can use the reference also. But here, I want to use only few fields data, and if I want to use only few fields data, then I can use the reference table. But in our case, I want to see all the fields that are available in the students. That's why I haven't used a reference. I directly selected extends table. Okay. So if I use the extends table, that what happens, then automatically what are the properties, what are the fields, what are the configurations that are acting on the table will be automatically given to the child as well. Then we can see all the field properties are assigned, given to the parent, will be exactly visible to the child, so that we can work on that. So this is how we are going to define that is a parent, that is a child, and we got to know some differences also, right? Whenever we create one record in the child, that will be visible in parent, and that won't be visible in the. If I create any record in the parent, that won't be visible in the child. But it will be reversed if you go for the fields. If I create any field in the parent, that will be visible in the child. But if I create any field in the parent, if I create any field in the child, that won't be visible in the parent. Okay. Sir, there are 5 ways, two or tables, and 3 are some forms. 3 are from the forms, from the creating of the field. Yes, Venkatramana, that is perfectly correct. So we can create fields using 5 ways. 2 are from the table, 3 are from the form. So I hope everyone got the good clarity about today's session, guys. And I think no one have any doubts, so that I'm going to conclude the session. Form configuration. Today's topic is form configuration, Balaji, because we are always working on the form, right? That is under data management only. Okay. So I hope no one has any doubts regarding the concept that we have discussed today. And tomorrow we are going to continue with the extents table. That is the one more topic that we are going to discuss. That is dictionary override. Then after I'm going to start with one more explanation called application creation and module creation. Okay. So Pravas, I can't give the support team number or things, right? But you can directly contact through Telegram. So you can text to the admins, they will definitely reply to you. Try to text to the admins directly so that they will directly reply to you. You told don't know you're asking, but you told I didn't know you're asking questions. So let's wait. What is the thing, Venkatramana? Which topic that you want to know? Yeah, we have discussed multiple ways, right? You already replied to that as well. Then what is the exact query that you have? Three or five. That is three or five. So we have three ways while creating the fields. The form and two are from the table. So that we are concluding total creation of ways for the fields is five. That is clear, right? Oh, you are asking for making a field mandatory. Okay, we have discussed about one question, right? How many ways we can create a field mandatory? You're asking for that. For that, the option is three. So one is from form configuration, that is dictionary configuration. That is possible by clicking on the field name. Okay. So directly click on the field name. Then after you can go for the config dictionary where you can make a field configurations. That may be a mandatory, that may be a read only, that may be a display. Okay. So then after we have discussed one more thing that is possible using form design. Also that is possible using form builder as well. Okay, that's fine. That is three ways. That is for the making field mandatory. Okay. So that's all for the day, guys. I hope everyone enjoyed the session and try to practice what are the things that we have discussed. And everyone, please try to complete the course as well. Yesterday, I have shared the link, right? So everyone should perform the activities that has been shared from us. So everyone try to complete the now learning platform courses that is been assigned to you people. You can check with the NASCOM. So there you can see all the links has been shared over there. From there you can directly navigate to the now learning platform. Otherwise, I have also been sharing the links for the completion of courses that you people need to complete. So I hope no one has any doubts. If you have any doubts also, please try to contact using Telegram, guys. So whatever the concept that you are working on or whatever the modules that you are using, that you are working on the now learning platform, you can directly post the screenshot if you have any errors directly in the Telegram group and tag someone from us. Okay. So that's how I'm closing the session, guys. Bye everyone. Have a nice day. And we will all meet tomorrow and we will all work on the next concept that we are going to discuss. So bye everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining.